Want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin. Hey everyone, I'm Christine.
I'm Jada.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit. So welcome back to the show, everyone. Hey Jada, how's it going, babe?
You know what? I'm literally on pins and needles because I really want to.
Because you always know I have a story to tell.
I always know you have a story, so I'm ready.
Well, I am doing the show ill today. I have a stomach ache. I have a headache. I did not go to work today. I stayed home. I'm just kind of feeling it. So if talk about vaginas is offensive to you, you may not want to hear this story. This story may not be for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so my friend Angela, the chef that I work with,
Yeah.
She is in town doing a tasting for an event that she's going to be doing, a wedding. And she's staying at my house. And after work yesterday, I helped prep for today. And then this morning, she's still prepping the last little bit. So I, got up and I needed to get out of bed because I wasn't feeling good. I thought I need to maybe, walk around, get some air. So I offered to help again.
Mm-hmm.
And she had me chopping veggies and doing all this stuff. And I had to, slice these little fine lines of peppers,
Mm-hmm.
like these green, jalapeno style peppers. And so I did this. Now, I live in a condo, and our cars are parked in a communal parking lot downstairs. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the pipes is dripping on my vintage car and it's ruined the paint. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. Anyway, that's a long story. Anyway, they're replacing the pipes there over my car today, and I had to move my car, and they had to shut down the water today while they're doing this. So last night, in preemptiveness, I put a bunch of waters in these containers and jars I have. And so we have no running water this morning. So I sliced up these peppers and I wash my hands with the water that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not feeling good. Now I said, I got to lay back down. So I laid down and my nose started tingling and kind of itching. So I just went like this with the back of my finger and rubbed my nose.
Jalapenos.
A fucking jalapeno got in my nose. And I gotta tell you, it was like the fire of death was in my nose. I couldn't breathe. I was like gasping for air, going fuck, and my eyes were running. And I'm like, oh my god! So I washed my hands like fucking 100 times. So I'm scrubbing under my nails. I think I'm good. Next thing you know, I'm feeling it on my lips and in my gums.
My gosh!
I'm like, I'm on fire. I'm gonna die. So I wash my hands again and again and again. My eyes are pouring. I'm just crying. I wipe my eyes, and now my eyes have it in it. And I'm like, my fucking God, I'm dying, right? So I scrub my face, I wash my hands, I scrub my face, and I'm laying down again. I'm like, I can't believe I survived that, right? The fire of death in my face. So, I took a hot bath last night because I was starting to feel it. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's where the vagina comes in. So I'm very sensitive. My body is very sensitive. I've talked about this on the show before. And if I take a hot bath or I don't know. I get in a hot tub or whatever. Once in a while, it can affect my body pH, my
Mhm.
imbalance in my vagina. We all as women go through it. So if y'all can't handle hearing it, take a breather for a second. So I'm laying there feeling, I think I could possibly have a little yeast infection coming now because of this fucking hot bath. And I'm pissed. So I'm like, okay, I have this really cool, like, these they look like pills, like vitamin pills. Okay.
Mhm.
They're vaginal suppositories. So if it's boric acid, some
Mhm.
kind of thing that helps with that. It's preemptive. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to preempt this. So I go to shove this up my hoo-ha.
And the hot pepper on your hand, which not only was in your eyes, your nose, and your mouth.
It's not my hoo-ha.
That is lovely.
I'm dying. I'm like crying. My nose is exploding. My mouth is on fire. And I'm now holding my vagina going,
So the moral of the story is it's been a bad, hot day.
icy day in my vagina area. Oh my God. So I'm not feeling good. And then everything is on fire because look, you have no idea. I have literally washed my hands 100 times. They still, but the running water, I think, is what the problem is. I don't have hot running
Hot
water. I just
water.
have water I can pour over my hands.
Yeah,
Uh,
you probably need running water, like
yeah,
consistent
well,
running water.
it's not working. But my vagina doesn't burn as bad anymore. So here
Well,
I am.
here you are. Thank you for blessing us with your stories.
You're welcome.
Um,
So that's my
as-
exciting week.
so do they how are they now? Are
They're
you
fine.
going to be fine on
I'm
this show?
alive. I'm
Okay.
exhausted. It had exhausted me. I was already tired. Anyway, how's your vagina? I mean, your week.
All is well.
All is well.
All is well.
Well,
All is well.
good Lord have mercy. There's always something going on. So,
Mhm.
a year and a half ago on August 4th, 2022, we had an episode, episode 39 called Dating Smorgasbord. And basically, what we were doing was having guests call in and ask us dating questions. It was right. Let's see. Oh, we have someone called Sniffish. Hello, people. Sorry to say, but I only follow a channel from Bear, Florida and Summer Island. I don't know what you're talking about, but thanks for blessing us with your presence and your comments that have nothing to do with the show. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm just being a bitch right now. Anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, we had a smorgasbord. So what we had is we had guests call in who are listeners to ask dating questions and dating advice. And we had a guest who came on who was a listener who asked us about, how to get started again. It'd been a long time and feeling not so confident and things like this. And we gave her advice. It was Janice. It was right after the time that Gabby had to leave the show because she was having a baby. And so one of our guests, her name is Jen. And I think since that podcast episode, she became a client of yours. Am I
Mhm.
right? So
Yes.
now only is she you give her dating advice, coaching, but
Mhm.
you're also her matchmaker, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's come a long way, I hear. And so since that show, we decided to do an episode today. It's episode 117 called Transformation After Heartbreak. And we're discussing moving on and healing after a heartbreak. And so Jen, because she has done so much transformation, we
Yeah.
decided to have her back today to talk about that journey in the last year and a half and how different it feels and what it means to have a dating coach and a matchmaker in lieu of maybe going online, or maybe even she's still going online. Who knows? So we're going to talk to her and find out. So here we go, Jen.
Jen.
Still
Hello.
choking. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Don't cut up jalapenos and touch your hoo-ha, okay? That's the lesson of
to tell you. You always have to wear gloves. I cut jalapenos for a certain dish all the time. And one time I didn't wear the gloves and I literally slept with my hands in milk that night because they were burning so badly. That oil gets in your skin and no amount of hot water or soap's going to get that.
Burns inside the cracks of where my nail is. And I was like, what's going on? And so I'm like this, and then I'm like,
oh, yeah. It's awful.
Don't touch your hoo-ha.
Always wear gloves.
Yes. Well, welcome back, Jen. You look gorgeous. How are you?
Beautiful.
I'm great. I'm great.
So tell us the biggest top 3 things that is your biggest transformation in the last year and a half since we've seen you.
Well, my physical appearance has changed because I'm losing weight and growing my hair out and getting very healthy, working with my doctor and my trainer at the gym and doing my own, great food and nutrition and exercise. So that's a big thing because that really affects the self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And then I would say I'm a person who's always working on personal development. So there's been a lot of personal development in the last, well, actually forever, but especially the last 6 years.
Okay.
And then I would say that putting myself out there and actually dating has been huge.
Yeah, because I remember you saying, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to I don't think I want to go out with anyone. Right. And we're like, just go to a golf course and have a drink at the bar and find a golfer. And you're like, no.
right.
I've been through all I'm done.
Oh, how the tide has shifted.
Oh, yes, the tide shifted.
So, when did you find Jada?
Oh, a year ago.
Yeah, I found what was that site I found you on?
Clubhouse. Oh, yeah. I think you were on it.
Yeah.
Maybe the episode. Yeah.
Oh, I watched a bunch of them. I was putting my hands anywhere I could to find information on dating as an adult after divorce or just being an adult or dating in general. So Clubhouse was good because that was specifically about dating as an adult. Mm-hmm.
But you can also chat to people too. Like you can establish friendships and I'm not on it anymore, but I think there's like different rooms and different things where you can kind of, so that's good for people that want to get out and be a little bit more social, I think.
Mm-hmm. So Jada had been speaking and, I was drawn to her and said, hey, can we talk? And then it's been magic ever since.
Magic ever since.
I'm curious to know, what was one of the first steps that Jada had you do to start moving towards the person you are today?
She had me do a personality profile test, and that was pretty significant for me. It's pretty extensive, and I
want to do it.
Yeah. You want to do it? I'll send you the link. It's like 150 questions.
I love it. I want to do it. I want to see what
I'll
the
send it to you.
personality test is.
Yeah, it's really in depth and it's really quite spot on. So you have to be willing to like do that when you don't have any interruptions and be able to sit down and read it afterwards when you have a clear head. So no wine when you're looking at that, just so you know.
Nice. Our sound engineer, our gorgeous Rebel, she wants to take it too.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Know what our personalities are.
Okay.
So what was that like turning point for you, Jen? Because I do know that you were kind of resistant and you tell me why you were so resistant. I think
I was scared to death.
Yeah.
How long has it been since your divorce?
It'll be 2 years this April. We've been separated for probably a total of almost 6 years now, but it was just a really long divorce.
April, May, June, July, August. So you were maybe even 4 months out of that relationship when we had that
as far as
episode.
legally divorced, but
Yeah,
I had
legally divorced.
and
Yeah.
I've been on my own for 4 years in my own
Okay.
house. Yeah.
Okay.
So and fairly deeply separated for a couple of years before that.
Yeah.
But it's very civil, and so I hate to even really talk about the divorce online because
Yeah.
we're a very close family.
That's good. No, that's great. I don't think
Been
that
married for 31 years.
I don't think that every divorce, every relationship end should have to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes things run its course. It doesn't mean that one or the other is a horrible person. I know that there are a lot of relationships out of this in this world that they, had a bad partner or they were a bad partner or whatever, but it doesn't mean that everybody was, and that you can't end a divorce or a relationship amicably, which,
Right.
just because you're divorced doesn't mean you're bad.
Right.
I think that there's positive in every relationship,
Yeah, but bottom line was I'd been married for 31 years. And so, I hadn't dated in a very long time. Dating world looks very different as an adult. And, this many decades later.
I have to say, I've told Jen many times, from our first discussion to who she is today, transformational. She sends me pictures, whenever she takes like updated pictures, and I was having a conversation with her saying that even in her pictures now, it's like her eyes are smiling. Like she just looks so different.
I love that.
Very first time we had our interaction.
Well, and Jada, what do you think, Jada, is, the biggest shift for Jen aside from physical? What do you think the biggest shift has been from the first time she started talking to you to today, a year later?
I think there's a few different things. From my understanding, and Jen, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, she has an incredible group of friends. And I think she's got a very supportive group of people around her, which is really important. But Jen is also, she will see a psychic, she will read a book, she will manifest, she will pick up a crystal, she will sage her house. Like she is just very
like, what's next?
Much. She's very dedicated to
I love
transformation. And I think that's just what has really worked because she hasn't given up. She's very consistent.
I have a question for you, Jen. Do you think in the beginning you were seeking transformation to find love and then realized you found yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think that I did the same thing. I was trying to find transformation so that I could be in the right place to find my love, the person I'm supposed to be with. And in that journey, I found love, the person I'm supposed to be with, but I realized it was myself rather than a man or another person. You know what I mean? So I'm curious if you felt
really love human touch and to be with a man.
Yeah,
but,
don't we all?
But I thought I knew my worth, and I think to a point I did. But now I know there's so much more to my worth.
I love that. That's beautiful.
And I feel so free. And the other thing besides the psychic stuff, I can't believe you said that. It's true. Great psychic convention that I went to, by the way. But anyway, I have a great counselor. I really do. She and I connected right out of the gate shortly, I think around the same time I met Jada. And she just knows how to listen to me and where I need to go. And the minute I feel like, I don't have anything else to work on, then she'll say something or I'll say something, then it'll open a whole nother little floor for it.
Right.
I guess we're going to be seeing each other a lot for a while.
So you're also, aside from seeing a transformational dating coach and being on a matchmaking, journey, you're also seeing a therapist or a counselor. Yeah. Because I think that, when we start to uncover things with our dating coaches, right, Jada? If we're not prepared to deal with what we're uncovering, we're just uncovering it and covering it up with something else that we've uncovered, right?
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's challenging anyway after you get divorced, especially when you've been with somebody for a long time. And when you have kids with that person. I know I met my ex-husband when I was 14 years old. So, I mean, it's very difficult, and you have to be consistent and want to put the work in order to change your mindset.
And your subconscious is not always going to let you see what you need to work on until you're ready for it. I've done personal development stuff for years. And one of the things I would say is that, I'm in these classes and everybody's raising their hand about fear of abandonment. And I'm like, I don't have it. I can't even fill out the paperwork. I don't have it. And then get to the end of the class. I took the class over and over and over again. And one of the teachers became one of my closest friends. And I said to her, do you think it's possible that I have a fear of abandonment and I just can't see it and I'm not filling any of these things out? She goes, well, you'll eventually know. So I was sitting with my counselor 2 weeks ago and I was talking to her about this. And I mentioned some things that had transpired. And she goes, you do realize that fear of abandonment is not just about the physical? She goes, there's an emotional aspect to it. And I went, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at.
That is true.
We're working on that.
So we are all familiar with Phil. Phil is another listener that we all knew. Phil asked a really good question. If we could pop that back up.
Put it back up.
Phil is asking a question to Jen. He's saying, is dating still scary for you, or are you enjoying it now?
Bring it on.
She's scary to me. Jen is.
You've unleashed the monster out of the box.
Definitely.
Like, I'm a sex goddess.
But I love it.
Jen's like, I fill up my oats. Yeah. So what was scary about dating in the first place, Jen?
Everything.
Just okay. And then what changed that perspective for you that now you're like, bring it on?
Getting out there and actually doing it and realizing that, it's just conversation. It's just seeing if there's connection. And I love the learning process. So once I grabbed onto the fact that any person that I was talking to or meeting was an opportunity for me to learn something new about another human being, it became interesting to me. Even if it was somebody that I knew I wasn't going to actually have a connection with, I wanted to figure out why I was meeting that person or talking with that person. I had a psychic say to me, every person you are going to meet in this journey is teaching you something. And so then I went, ding, 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 ding. This is exciting for me. What am I going to learn? Even from somebody that I know we're not going to talk again. I'm not feeling a connection here.
Yeah, because then they're teaching you something and you're feeling a growth. I love that. I think that's a nice way to look at it instead of thinking. I think that a lot of people either are still too afraid or they could jump in head first and go, oh, is this going to be my person? Is this going to be it? And putting a lot of pressure on it, whether they're saying it or not, that energy is pressure to the other person in lieu of, like what you're saying is, ooh, what am I going to learn about this person? Do they have something invaluable to talk about, to teach me, to be? Maybe it's a new perspective that I never thought I could see. Right.
I know Jada would say, like, I had what some people would call a really bad date. And within 2 days later, Jada's hearing from me talk about everything that I learned, everything that I felt about myself and how empowered I felt over myself. And honestly, the sexual desire that was like just unleashing inside of me, all from what somebody would have thought was a bad date. And now I joke and say, was it really a bad date? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. That was interesting. To say the least.
Oh God, I want to listen in on the other side of the stories of calling
you would have a field day on our calls because I think our calls.
I'm writing a book, Christine. I'll make sure you get a copy.
I want the transcripts because I am all about it.
Did you, Christine, when you got your most recent divorce, did you date shortly after? Or did you take a lot? For me, I took some time. I took some years.
I knew this shit was going down in like April, May, June. I knew June it was really bad. By August, he had moved out of the house and into our guest, like it wasn't a guest room, it was like our playroom, that it was a garage converted. We called it the guest house or the movie room. And it also had my office. So he moved into there. By October 1st, he moved out. And I knew it was over and my confidence was shit. And my girlfriend was over from work and she was saying, oh, you should try the dating apps and just get yourself out there just to kind of feel, what it's like to be treated differently than how your husband was treating you. And don't let this, get your confidence down. Let's just plow in. So I think I had my first date like October 18th after that. And I wound up being in a relationship with that person for a year and a half. And actually, it might have been one of the truest, really good relationships right out the gate. It was really good. Unfortunately, when it fell apart, I realized I just jumped in too soon.
Too quickly.
I mean, I should have waited a little longer, but it taught me more than it would have taught me being single all that time. So I'm kind of grateful for it.
Like local dating or was it long distance?
It was local.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to date local or do you want to date long distance, Jen?
So I have opted for long distance. And I understand that it offers some challenges, but I really think that, and I'm a very positive person anyway. I see so many positive check marks to it. I knew it would essentially slow a relationship down. I knew it would slow the physical aspect down, which with as much desire as I have was probably a good thing. And I also knew from my own past experience, we would do a lot of talking over the phone, which would help us to really get to know each other. Because that phone and, now that I'm older, the texting that I didn't have when I was younger is really valuable, but you can't just have the phone and text. You could fall in love with somebody that way, and then you meet them and it's just, there's no energy, there's no chemistry, there's something really lacking. And I'm really big into the energy, the touch, the chemistry, even the kissing is a big deal to me.
Yeah.
So long distance, what I would say, the biggest challenge is it feels like speed dating because you're trying to get all this information and in rather quickly because you want to be able to meet because I need that touch and that chemistry and all that. And how much time and energy and expense you're going to put into going to travel to meet somebody unless you really know, and you need it to be safe too, which is why I love having a matchmaker because she does all that background checking and she interviews them before they even get to me at least 2 times. So that's really valuable. But some men that I've talked with talk about that that didn't go through Jada talk about the intensity of this long distance dating. They were new to it and it just put pressure on them that they weren't prepared for. And so then I kind of have to coach it. And I don't like the coaching part of it when I'm trying to get to know somebody on a romantic level, because then it feels more like a business transaction.
Are you still doing the dating sites? Or are you just strictly matchmaking? What's with you? What's going on with you?
So I put myself on Facebook app, and it was because my girlfriend was having technical difficulty with it. So I said I would help her. And then it was like, oh, good God, girl, I'm going to have to put my profile on here to help you. And then, I had to push send on it. I told her I was going to kill her. And then it just, honestly, I met a really nice guy right out of the gate doing that. And I just decided to stick with it. I still talk with the really nice guy. He's amazing and a good part of my life as far as friendship goes. I think we're good for each other, but long distance was difficult. And when you have the long distance difficulty, the little things then can become bigger because you can't really tend to the little things.
Do you think that you opted for the long distance thing because you're still challenged with commitment or being forced to put in the work that you would have to do on a daily?
It's a great question. I appreciate it. Absolutely not.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Because I'd hate that for you. I'd hate for you to hide behind,
Oh yeah, no.
something like that. Because I think that some people that do long distance have a tendency to still have issues with, not so much intimacy, but being vulnerable and being open to the challenges that the daily would have to bring.
Sure.
Whereas where you're just talking to them, that's easy. And then you see them like once a month or every other weekend or whatever, that, that's not putting in as much as you would if they were local. So I know that some people have that challenge.
It's a great question. And so knowing that I was going into this with Jada, had started to change my business. I'm a realtor in Michigan, and I predominantly work in northern Michigan, but I've been setting myself up to have a buyer's agent and a showing agent, and I can work remotely. So I was foreseeing this and foreseeing me working remotely so that, if I did meet that special person, I could actually be with them, even if they're not in Michigan. I can still work remotely, and then my clients, excuse me, can still be cared for by this other person or other people brought into my business. So what's going on here? Is it your vajayjay?
Maybe Jen should be one of our contestants on Relocate for Love.
Oh.
Well, I didn't even think about that. She would be, I don't know that Jen would relocate, but she would be an amazing.
Would you relocate, Jen?
Contestant.
Okay,
You've been saying for the last 30, 40 seconds that you can work from anywhere remotely. So.
Well, for certain periods of time. Yeah. And my mother is 89. I still help to care for her locally. And my kids are just of the age where they're going to start getting married and such. So out of the gate, I try to tell people that my idea is that I live in the most beautiful place. I live in Traverse City, Michigan. My idea is to stay here. Everything feels like I'm being drawn here. However, the right person that makes me feel like I want to feel, we'll talk.
Yeah, because I was going to say it kind of defeats the purpose if you're choosing long distance relationships and you are wanting to stay local. It makes me ask, what am I missing here? What is it that you're running from? Do you know what I mean? What am I missing? Because, you want somebody to be with, to hold, to cuddle, to have sex with, to, build this time with. But if they're not living in your town and they aren't capable of relocating and you're not capable of relocating, where does that put you?
So Jada covers that when she's interviewing them. She covers that right out of the gate. Are they in a position where they can work remotely or move? So that's, but when I'm the one talking to them on, let's say, the Facebook app, I have to go through that process with them. And that's time consuming to have that conversation because they don't probably expect that. So what I will tell you is one of the reasons why long distance dating was so appealing to me is that I'm in a small town and I know the nature of the northern Michigan people, so to speak. And I was looking for something that is stereotypically a little bit different than what you find here. Was that a nice way to say it?
That was lovely.
Yes, but I know Michigan very well, so I know exactly what you're saying without saying it, and it's cracking me up.
I don't want to go out fishing and hunting, and it's okay if
That's
people do that.
exactly right. I mean, I'm a fisher hunter chick, but I could see that's where you were going, and I was cracking up because I was
I've
like,
spent 30 years being second fiddle to all that. I don't want that
yeah,
anymore.
Jen's not putting on the hip boots
No more.
and wading in the water to hunt something. Yeah.
No. So that was part of it. And the other part of it is that I really wanted, because I was so afraid, and I knew that this was going to be a little bit tough on, I have 2 children. I knew it was going to be tough on one of them. I wanted privacy. And so dating somebody somewhere else offered me that privacy.
Gotcha.
So those are my big reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's been so fun. Oh my God, you meet people from all over. And every time you meet somebody from a different area, there's just so much to learn and such differences.
I have seen lately in the matchmaking space, I interviewed a gentleman today, for example. A lot of people are choosing long distance relationships, and some people are even open to long distance marriages, which is what this gentleman told me today, where they would have dual homes. But
okay, yes.
Oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that.
That was the other, I'm in
go ahead.
real estate. So I already knew that I wanted a house in here and then somewhere else. So again, meeting somebody that was able to be remote and maybe didn't love Traverse City for the whole year. Well, we can live in Florida for part of the year, or we can live in wherever.
This particular gentleman, his idea would have been dual homes, but like he would have his house, she would have her house wherever she is.
Oh.
And then they would spend a few weeks at a time together. But I've heard that before in matchmaking. This is not new.
Sign me up.
Oh,
I'm down.
You wouldn't want that type of marriage? You wouldn't want to be around your
husband? I don't think I would mind it for a little while at least. Yeah. I really don't. Well, especially like now I have my youngest is still home for the next year and a half. I wouldn't mind it for a year and a half. But then after that, I would give up wherever I am to be with the person.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to relocate for love. If the person that I wind up with has, is financially stable to be able to, handle that, then I would do it 100%.
Yeah. That's okay. I mean, I usually ask people would they relocate, and if they say, yes, well, that's great. But if they're like, well, I don't know, I'm asking them, well, what does dating someone long distance look like for you? How do you see that going if you're not willing to? How does that work? So that's part of the things I address when I'm asking my questions to people. But Jen
I would prefer to not live separately. Yeah. But if his job took him away for short periods of time, I can deal with that. One of the other things that I really liked out of the gate about long distance dating is that I've been in a house by myself for now over 4 years, and I'm used to my space. So this gave us a way of bringing somebody back into the space a little bit slower instead of feeling maybe a little overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, I feel that.
If I was really in love, I wouldn't be feeling overwhelmed by it, but it takes a little while to fall in love. I can tell you that's still my hang up. If I had one thing, it's because I'm super vulnerable. I'm super wear my heart on my sleeves. I'm very direct. I don't hold much back. All right. But I haven't told somebody I love them in over 6 years. And I know that part is going to be a slower process for me.
Yeah, I've gotten burned the last, a few times, feeling like I had, fallen in love and gotten burned. And so I feel that's hard, and I do agree taking that slow burn is good. It's better than that fast burn up fire that just, burns, extinguishes itself really quickly. I kind of don't mind it. I used to be very anti long distance, and I actually, liked it a little bit.
Interesting. I wouldn't see that for you, Christine.
I remember you talking about it, Christine, that you had a bad experience, and so you were kind of downer on it. And I was like, oh, well, I'm just not going to we're just not going to bring that up in Clubhouse then.
No, I get it. I got burned, but you know, it resonates with me when you were saying, you know, I've been alone for a long time and I have my own space, and it's kind of hard. Like right now, having somebody move in and live with me full time would be kind of overwhelming. I would need that. Would need that. Oh, I miss him kind of thing for a while, and then get to the point where you're like, you know what? I just miss you too much when you're gone. And I love it when you're here all the time.
Yeah.
I need to slowly get to that. So I understand where you're coming from, Jen. That's exactly, maybe I just hadn't voiced it or put it all together until you said it. And then I was like,
I'm a deep thinker. I have thought this thing to death.
well, I'm really happy to see how much you have changed and grown, and evolved into who you should have been before, or growing into the woman, that you are desiring to be. I think it's beautiful. I mean, you're gorgeous. Just a reminder, I live a long distance away from you. I know that Phil likes Jen. He thinks you're a hottie patati, baby.
Jen is a hottie.
Yeah, it feels pretty cute.
Oh my goodness,
He's pretty sweet.
Start getting red.
I love it. I also, I think with transformation, at least for myself, I don't know about you, Jen, but it's taught me to let certain things go that I used to hang on to when it comes to attraction to men. I'm much more open to the things I maybe wouldn't have been in the past, because I'm learning to see the person behind the height, the weight, the shape, the size, the color, the look. I can see past that and see the person that's there, and know that my body isn't who and what I am. It's just part of the overall picture. And I learned that I have to accept that in somebody else. I think that's made a big difference, in my transformation. What about you, Jen? Do you see things differently? Or are you still staunch on what, you want?
Well, I think Jada would say I'm all over the board.
That's what I was thinking in my mind, but I didn't want to say it out loud.
So I think that I'm very open, and I may give people too many second chances or third chances kind of thing. I think something that I'm learning now after many months of doing this is to really pay attention to my own intuition, because my intuition is really high, and I know that. It just was stifled for a little while, in my adult life. So I'm being, what do I want to say? Quicker to make decisions, but I'm still looking at the whole picture.
That's good.
That's good. I would agree.
I love that. And I'm really loving this for you. I mean, the whole point of me starting this show was to help others, and then realize I'd help myself as well. And then hoping, that, having an episode would light a fire under somebody to, really start to explore what they want and who they are and where they're going. That has always been the goal for this show. And it's really nice to see someone like yourself who came on, who was just like, I think you're always so sweet and open, but I saw such a closed door there when you were like, I want to date, but I don't know if I'm just able to or want to, or, and then now to see such a difference. And what makes me happy about that also is that you just didn't go on a journey by yourself. You realized you needed companions to make that journey, and that being Jada and your counselor and your trainer and family to support you. I think that's really smart and really important. And I don't think a lot of people realize just how much dating coaches can help a person move on from heartache, move on from trauma and bad relationships, and and find, or even a good relationship, and think, oh, there can be other good relationships.
I can guarantee you, if I had gone on this by myself, I could see like first guy being nice to me. I jump on it and he's a bad dude. And then I'm in 5 hours away from my home. I'm not safe. I haven't told my friend. I mean, there's a whole thing about keeping yourself safe, especially as a woman out there. Yeah. And the long distance part of it. Jada and I have talked about this extensively. Yeah. So, she does the background checks and I do things on my end as well. And I have systems in place. I have systems in place with my girlfriends, with my closest family members. They know where I am at all times. They have the gentleman's information, and I let the guys know. And sometimes, when I'm not working with Jada, I will let the guys know that I do my own background checks. I'm a real estate agent. I have access to that software.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I'm checking out the background. So if you got shit to hide,
there has to be a phone call. There has to be video chat. If they won't video chat, I know that there's something wrong. Then I'll get on and do a little bit more background checking. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of women don't do their due diligence and don't listen to their intuition and their red flags, because I think they're so just dying to have somebody and desperate to feel something and be felt, and all the shit that people are like, oh, but I'm okay with this or that, or ignoring the red flags. And I think it's smart to do your due diligence, like you were saying you were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a bad idea for a show. The woman dating.
Right. Well, Jen, I'm so glad you were able to come on. I missed the first one. I wasn't on the first one, so this was good that I could be on this one. It was bad.
No, it was good. I actually got off the episode thinking that was really good, because it showed the life. It showed struggle. It showed that we could hear the desire, but the hesitation was so there. And I thought it was really good. And it gave us a chance to give suggestions and ideas on, the tiny little baby steps it took to put yourself out there. I thought that the show went pretty good. And I thought it was a really good episode. And I thought that you were fantastic. You were perfect. And now to see this full transformation, 360, it's wonderful.
It feels great. I feel so
beautiful.
I feel so free.
But you were always beautiful. You just needed to discover it for yourself.
Yep.
And take pride in what you want and who you're doing.
Who I'm doing.
So Pamela made a comment in the back. She says Jen has so many of us who have her back to protect her. She is amazing and grown so much. And I'm so excited for her and her adventures ahead. Yeah, it's so nice to have friends there to support and to really, help us help ourselves. And it's always nice to have friends who vicariously live through us.
Right?
We're the wild ones, Jen. I have a feeling.
Yes.
I love it. No, I'm really proud of you and I'm really happy for you. And I think that by, letting people know that change can happen no matter how old you are, how far you are in life, what it takes, as long as you're willing to take that step every day. And that's working out, talking to a counselor, working with a dating coach, trying a matchmaker. I mean, talking to your friends, being open and honest, not only with yourself, but with others. I think I think it's a really good thing. And I'm really proud of you. And I wanted to have today with Jada and I were talking because we want to help others see that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
And all of that may look really hard for somebody, but I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's hard. It's a mindset. It's what do you want? What are you hungry for?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
If you let it.
Well, it's just putting in that step every day. It's getting out of bed, getting out of your pajamas, which
Consistency. Yeah.
today I did not. But
It's putting on good pajamas.
There you go.
I have fucking great pajamas on. Let me tell you.
So do
They're
I.
good as hell. I just threw my mom's sweater over my pajamas, and here I am. I sleep naked, so jammies are for house lounging. All right. I getting dressed when I get out of bed is a good sign. You know, we all have those moments, but here we are at the end. I realize that we have run out of time. Jen, thanks for coming and seeing us today and showing us that there is always a way to better ourselves and to work towards something that we really want in our lives. And Jada, you're a badass, and Jen is a result of that, and I'm so impressed by it. So all those who came and listened and participated today and come back every week, thank you so much. Please come back again next week. Same time, same place. And until then, let's keep this shit real.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.